My dear friend, welcome back to another Blender to Microsoft Fligtht Simulator tutorial. Yes, I'm back with tutorials. I've been away for some days, 3 months during the summer, because I've been engaged with some boats, as you may know. And yeah, today tutorial will be about characters, animated characters, and I'm gonna show you how to import a character, make an animation for it, and import into Fligtht Simulator. So of course we need a character to work with, but if you don't want to design yours or it's too difficult, you can download one from the internet. And I'm going to Sketchfab and search for a model. I already find one, and is this girl here. You can choose a downloadable to only select downloadable models, and this one is good because it's not posed. It's in an A pose, unlike the T pose that we saw in every other model, but it's is low poly and has no problems with animation, so I can use that. I'm gonna download it and download. File, import GLTFs, because I downloaded it as GLTFs, and I import my scene in Blender. So, important things. Your model shall be all in one piece. So I need to join all this part in one model. Another important thing, your model shall have right measurement. Our model has, but if it is not, you have to scale it down to the proper measurements. Okay, let's see if she has a mouth, because most models come with a mouth and we don't want that. Yes, she's a mouth. The mouth is inside the head. I'm gonna delete, so I can go in edit mode, select all the object, go into edit mode, merge by distance, and I'm gonna do a mesh cleanup to delete the loose vertex, if any. Mesh cleanup, degenerate dissolve. Okay, so join all the object, and I don't need all those relations, because this is parented to those empties here. Don't need them. I'm gonna remove all the relations, and I'm gonna move this to the original position, so Rx by 180 degrees. So it's pointing up, and the Control A, apply all transformations. So the scale is 1, the height is correct. I have to add a skeleton to this model because she doesn't have a skeleton. Let's put it to the collection. Let's call that Asian babe. I have to activate an add-on that is called the Rigify add-on, and the Rigify add-on is shipped with Blender, so you have to tick this and enable it. Go to Add Armature, and we'll be in a basic armature, and she is a basic human. I'm gonna scale down the armature, and to see the armature better, I'm gonna go to the armature properties, viewport display, and make the bones in front. The shoulder must go a little bit up here, and now we can go to the pose mode and rotate the arms in position, rotate in 90 degrees, so Z 130 degrees. Okay, I'm gonna rotate this in position here and in position here. Okay, now for the legs, rotate in position here and in position here. We need to make sure that the joints of the bones are in the right position too. So I'm gonna go in edit mode and put the joints in the right position, and also the add here, edit mode and GZ. Okay, that's correct. Okay, now you can see that if we move from the object mode to the edit mode, the pose we have done in the pose mode of the armature changes. That's because we need to set this pose as the rest pose of our character. And this can be done directly in Blender, but not always works. So we can download another add-on, another plugin, that is called the simple retarget, and it's here. You can go to the code, download zip, and install in Blender like always. So add preferences and install add-on, search the zip and install the add-on. And this is called the simple retarget. Make sure that it is enabled. The simple retarget add-on, when you are in pose mode, lets you make a lot of things, but the most important one is go to pose, simple retarget, and well, we need to select a bone, pose, simple retarget, set rest pose with objects. So now when you go from object mode and edit mode and pose mode, the armature is always in the same position, which is the rest position in this case. Let's parent the armature to the object, because if we move the armature, the object doesn't move. Now let's pick the character. Let's see, it has not vertex groups. And so let's make sure that the armature has a scale 1, so apply all transform to the armature, and now the armature has scale 1, and also the object has scale 1, and there is all transform, perfect, and there is no transformation and no movement. This is very important. Now we can parent the body to the armature, so I click the body and shift click the armature, Control P, and parent with automatic quakes. And now the parenting is done, we have no error, and we can go ahead with the animation. So let's see, going into pose mode, if yeah, the character is moving correctly, and the root bone, which is the hips bone here, in the meta rig here in the rigify add-on, is called the spine, while in the Mixamo that we're gonna see later is called the hips, and also the head. Okay, we have some issue with the parenting of the hair. Not a big deal. We're gonna correct that. And the idea is when I move probably this bone here, and this bone here is called, well, let's go to object mode, and then the armature and pose mode. This bone here, that is spine.004, all those hairs move along with this bone. So with the object selected, with the mesh, the character selected, I'm gonna go into the edit mode and select all the hairs. It's okay, and I'm gonna go to vertex group and assign all the hair, all the selected hair, to the spine 004 and click assign. And now if we try to move the character, now the hair are going with the character. I notice another issue is with the eyebrows. Yeah, is with the eyebrows, so I'm gonna fix them in the same way. Object mode, I'm gonna select the eyebrows, select, I'm pressing L here to select the linked object, and this probably we go to the spine 6, which is the last ear one, the last ear. So pose, rotate, that's correct. Okay, we can go ahead. Maybe it's time to save. So save as. I'm gonna put this maybe in my poor little model lib folder, and this is the Asian babe. Okay, now we need to find an animation for our character. There is a website, nice website with free animation. This is called Mixamo.com. This is from Adobe. And Adobe can provide us some great animation. And now I have all sort of animation, and also I have characters. You can download also character from Mixamo. This is a good one that can go into the Fligtht Simulator and do stuff maybe. But now we are interested in the animation part. Usually the idle animation and the idle animation are animation where the character is is standing, is doing pretty much anything, are the most used one. Maybe the idle animation or the sitting animation. Yeah, maybe this one could be useful for our for our model. So yeah, let's try this. You can see the animation is applied to the character, and for this character it's really funny. Well, I have to download this, and I'm gonna download this without the skin. The skin is the character, and download. Back into the Blender, I'm gonna go to File, Import FBX, and now important. Make sure that you have automatic bone orientation when you select your character, when you select your animation. Now scroll down to our FBX, and this is this one, sitting and talking. Automatic bone orientation and pre-post rotation. I'm gonna import this FBX. Okay, the animation in the character is sitting right in the middle. I'm gonna move this into another position. Very important, I'm gonna check that the rotation is 0. I'm going to apply this rotation. So Ctrl A and apply the rotation to the character. This is the pose mode, and this is the edit mode. Okay, so the skeleton are pretty much the same. Yeah, this one has the fingers. Well, we don't need them, but they are pretty much the same. So when we are in edit mode here, we have the character in the T pose. While in edit mode here, we have the character in the A pose, so like the letter A. We can make this with the T pose as well, so we'll avoid problems. So I'm going to pose mode and rotate by maybe 30 degrees here and 30 degrees here. So you already know that I can do pose, simple target, rest pose with objects. Okay, perfect. Now, for the retargeting means putting the animation from one object, this one, to another armature, from one armature to another armature. We need to select both armature, go into pose mode. Now we're going to select the root bone here and the root bone here, and go to pose, simple retarget root. Okay, now, as you can see, this bone here, this bone here is copying the same rotation and position of the other bone, and is now green. Now we have to copy all the other bones from one object to another. How to do this? Very simple. Select one, select the other, pose, simple retarget muscle bone. Pose, simple retarget muscle bone. And we can go ahead for all the bones. Okay, now all the bones are retargeted correctly, and if we play the animation, we're gonna see now that our character is copying the same movement of the other one. It's pretty good here, eh? Now we have one little issue. Well, a couple. And we need to rotate this one. Okay. Looks like to be good. Okay, so maybe it could be a good idea also to move her neck. Yeah, a little bit up here. Okay, perfect. Let's save, and now we have our copy. So this act like this is like a mannequin here, and you can see if we move him, she moves as well because she's copying the movement of the other object. Now we have well, we can hide this because we don't need him, and now we need to transfer this movement from this character to something that Flight Simulator can understand. Now all the bones are green because they are constrained to the bones. Oh, that's bone constraints. Yes, we have bone constraint that is copying the movement of the other armature. But we can't import the two armatures in Flight Simulator, and all the constraints type. That doesn't work. Okay, we need to bake the animation. Baking the animation is a destructive process, and so make sure you have a double copy of this, or maybe in object mode duplicate your character. Okay, and maybe we can place the duplicates into another collection. So add a new collection, or let's breaking process. Really simple. Pose mode, pose, animation, bake action. So let's see how long is this animation. So let's look at this object mode. Oh my goodness, it's enormous. Oh, she's talking a lot. 1350 is talking a lot. It's really talking a lot. Okay, so let's disable this one, and now we go to the pose mode, and let's do the pose, animation, and bake action. So we want all the frames to be copied, all the bones, and now we're gonna select visual keying and clear constraints. Let's remove the constraints from this armature to the other armature. Okay, I'm gonna press OK, and let's wait for the baking to be done. It's gonna take a few moments because he's talking a lot. She's a girl. She's talking a lot. Whoa, a lot of data. We still are in the bone constraints, but if we go to the pose mode, no bones are green anymore. But if we play the animation is still playing. So we have baked all this movement to this armature. Go pose mode, select all the bones. We can see that we have all kind of keyframes. Now go to the top sheet and the action editor, so we can tweak this action a bit. We need, of course, to remove the scaling keyframe, because the baking has imported for each bone location, rotation, and scale keyframes. We don't need the scale frames. We need to delete them. So I'm gonna select scale, select everything here, and press the delete button. And we don't have scale keyframe anymore, but you look, we have all the other rotation and location keyframe. Good. So I'm gonna call this animation talking and sitting. I'm gonna push down this animation to the nonlinear animation editor. We need to do another thing. We need to set a default pose animation, default state animation, which is the non-posed pose of the character. This character is posed, but if we press the Alt R and Alt G, the character goes in its unposed, in its rest position. We need to make sure that we have an animation also for this rest position. And so I press Alt R and Alt G, and I'm gonna insert a location and rotation keyframe for frame 0, frame 1, frame 2. And I'm gonna call this default state. And push down the animation. Now, to the nonlinear animation, we have talking and the default state. We have almost done. We go to object mode. We're gonna add an empty, and let's call this Asian babe. I'm gonna parent the armature to the empty. So I'm gonna select the armature and shift select the empty and Control P and parent to object. So when I move the empty, also the lady moves with the object. If we disable the default state animation, you can see that the babe is sitting. If we enable the default state animation, the babe is standing in the T pose. Right, so let's put this inside the collection. We are ready to export the model. So we don't need the source armature anymore. Maybe we can move it to the backup folder. And now we can export our babe to the Fligtht Simulator. Let's see if she compiles well and she moves well inside the simulator. So very easy. And on the keyboard, multi-export, reload the LODs. I wanna only the Asian baby here, Asian babe, and let's export, accept this one and export. We can see that we have unexported GTLFs in our model. Let's see if it moves correctly. So I need the texture for air, and this one. Yeah, I'm gonna play with air in the in the internal 3D visualizer. Default state is good. The sitting animation is playing quite correctly. Oh Lord! Yes, this model needs to be fixed in the sitting position. Well, we're gonna put a chair under behind there. I am satisfied. So let's compile this into the simulator and let's see if we have a correct character. Well, so the compilation is good. We have our GLTF compiled, 0 failed. We have some warning here in yellow. We don't worry about them. But I have forgot to add the animation itself to the XML. And it is mandatory because now if we import a model into Fligtht Simulator, the model will stay still. And we need to tell him what animation to choose. So we're gonna add an animation line, and this animation line with its own UID, and this is one, this is another one. So I'm gonna add maybe, oops, Asia baby. And the name of the animation was talking. Was it talking? This is the name of the animation. Okay, the NLA strip here is talking. And all the other stuffs are okay. I'm gonna compile again, reload the simulator, and let's put the model inside the scenery. Okay, now I'm back into Fligtht Simulator. So as you can see, our poor Paul here is waiting for something, and now we can give him someone to talk with. So let's grab this chair here. Now let's prepare the chair for the girl, and now go to the objects and search for the Asia babe and add it to the scene. And here she is. Hi Paul. Nice to meet you. And save the scenery. So okay, she's doing her thing, she's talking, and Paul now is more happy. Are you happy, Paul, that you have some girl to talk with? Hope you are happy. Okay, so the character is working correctly. We have no distortion, pretty much no distortion. I made a very fast job with her. And yeah, this method works. Can take some time in the beginning to make it work, flawlessly. But it's very reliable. As you can, if you remember the old video, the Macarena one, I have animated quite a few characters, and this is another one that I have animated while doing the tutorial, while preparing the tutorial. This is Claudia, just a standing position. Or maybe I have Paul. Yeah, this is Paul doing some other stuff. Paul here is waiting. But we can make talk with Paula, with Claudia here. Yeah, talk together. And all those animation are coming from Mixamo. Okay, back to Blender. What if we want to change the animation? We have to do the whole process again? No, because we can download another animation from Mixamo. We have now the source here. I have enabled the backup now. And let's call the source talking Mixamo. And now back to Mixamo. Let's download another action for our girl. Oh, maybe the loathing one. Oh, maybe some dancing animation. And I have already imported a nice one. So import FBX, pre-post rotation. Okay. And download FBX. Doesn't work. So this guy is dancing now, and this one is still talking. But what if we twerking? Save this as fake user. It's enabled by default. So we can choose for this animation to do the twerking. Because here is the backup here is still constrained to the source. Now she has the twerking movement as well. And now we can bake this action. Again, we have the backup. Okay, no problem. The backup is still here. So we go to animation, bake action. Maybe I can create a new copy of this. Shift D. And put this here. Go to pose. Pose, animation, bake action, visual key constraints. Okay. And now, always with the fake user, we can call this baked twerk, disable the backup collection, enable our Asian baby. And now for our armature, I'm gonna select the armature. I can select the baked twerk for her. And I can push down the animation to the nonlinear animation. And now we have, let's move this one to top. And this is the twerk. So now our object can have two different animations. The twerk and the talking. In fact, she can play the twerk and she can play the talking. And if we export it to the simulator here, now we have the twerking animation, the standing animation, and the talking animation. So for the same character, you could have multiple animation, and you can add multiple variation of your character. So if we have a big scene, you can use only one model, and for each placement, you can use a single animation. And this is very handy to create very big scene with a lot of people where only the animation changes. I know this is a lot of stuff. You have to experiment a bit. And to understand this, my advice is to follow the creator of the Simple Target add-on tutorial. And well, he's quite fast at talking, but he's better than me at talking English. Maybe you can understand better than what I explain. Also in the tutorial, there are a lot of functions of this plugin that are explained, like copying the retargeting list of bones from one armature to another. This one is only the start. In next tutorials, we're gonna see how to make them moving in an environment, not only in a standing position or a pre-made animation like the one here in Mixamo. Yeah. Because if you happen to download the walking animation, because the animation goes from start to finish, you have your character jumping back. And we need to make something different to make this going in the right way in the sim. It is possible, and I will explain you how to do that in a upcoming tutorial. Maybe not next one, but something that could come in the future. Hope you like this. Bye bye. See you soon. Bye.